Welcome back to my channel, guys. It's time for another audiobook light novel review. Welcome back to my channel, guys. And it is a audiobook, but also a light novel. So you guys can either read it or buy the audiobook. It's going to be on volume 1 of Mapping the Trash Tier Skill That Got Me Into a Top Tier Party. Long name, and it gives you the whole synopsis of basically what's going on. But I'll give you more details on the story itself, if you guys don't mind, here in this video. Before anything, guys, if you haven't done so by now, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I did do some audiobooks last year. Gonna try to do more audiobooks this year, more reviews on audiobooks. There's not a lot of audiobooks out there, so I'm trying my best to review as many as possible for you guys. But like I said, there's very few audiobooks. I know Yen Press does some. There's also some that were released through 7 Seas. But a lot of these audiobooks are hard to find if you don't just buy them. So recommended just buy them. They're not too expensive. There's different ways to do it. Best way to do it is through Amazon, to be honest, because you can get their subscription and sometimes you get good deals through them. And it ends up being maybe $2-3, which is not a deal at all. I mean, a pretty good deal after all. So, okay. So the story itself follows this guy called Note Athlon, and essentially he is he's been training hard to be a good fighter, but he ends up not being one. He is going and trying to figure out his abilities with his best friend and crush and lifelong friend, Mia. And Mia ends up having these super rare abilities and all this, and he ends up having this ability of mapping. And essentially in this world you get like 3 slots, and mapping takes up all the slots, so he doesn't really have any more abilities than mapping. And because mapping is such a weird and also useless ability, one in the sense of everyone has created maps already, so they don't need more maps, he becomes useless. And he basically through his own way of thinking pushes Maya aside and basically says that she needs to go and live her adventuring life, and he needs to stay behind and just duel on the or soak in the sense that he's never going to be good enough for her. So it's very sad, but at the same time it's like he also could have like tried his best with her, but he didn't. So for a year, I think, or more, he trains and he's in and out parties, helping them when he can, but really is just like a bag boy, or really just like a side character for all these teams. And eventually he comes across a group of people, a top tier people, who want him in his group. Now this group of people is a party, I believe there's 4, and they're missing 2 more, which is him and someone else. The characters are Jin, Grants, Jin, Fought Road or Aaron, Perjin, and then Athlon Note is him, and then Rosalia Mingott as well eventually. So yeah, all these characters are basically, they're the top tier group, very strong group, and they take him in. So they essentially take a sabbatical, of 6 months to train Note to become the best thing. Essentially, they tell him they want him for his mapping skills, and they explain to him that because his skill seems like it's useless, a lot of people don't use it. But because he has to have been adventuring, he has experience in adventuring. But 2, his ability is actually very unique in the sense that he can map dungeons, and everyone else who has abilities close to mapping cannot map in dungeons. They all have the limitation of this world, whereas his ability, because it's from another world, or doesn't really specify what world, and dungeons are from other worlds. He's able to map dungeons. So they train him a little bit, and they train him for a month or so. There's like this whole fight between him and Grants because he starts becoming like very like chalant about the of his skills, and he's like, you're becoming too compliant, or like you need to actually push harder because we don't want to spend the whole 6 months training. The 6 months is our limit. Like that's when we're gonna give up. So he starts again pushing hard, and essentially what ends up happening is they're looking for another member to complete the party, and Grant ends up falling in love with no easy way to say it, but like the town's hooker almost. This girl attracts men, basically makes them do her bidding for them, and then puts them aside. Right? She is not the best character ever. So because of this, now the team is another team member down because he wants to quit and just live his life for this woman. So Note takes it to his hand and basically goes and tries to become one of her play toys so that she can let Grant go. Eventually, one thing leads to another, and they get trapped by some people who basically don't like her because she's been hoeing around the wrong people, and they obviously don't like that. They don't want her messing with their men, so they're trying to get her really, but he's just a bystander. Well, he's trained to be a thief, but not in the sense of what we believe a thief is. His training itself is his skills are learning to how to unhook locks and all that. So he's able to escape and makes a deal with her that if they escape together, she's gonna leave Grants alone, and he's gonna basically be able to get Grants back into the party. So she agrees. We find out that she's a very strong fighter through escaping the rest of the jailhouse. And then at the end of the volume, she ends up joining the group with the with the excuse saying that Note never said that she should leave him alone, just Grant. So now she's gonna be going after Note's heart. So that, in a nutshell, is the entire first volume and audiobook of this mapping light novel. It is a great series. I think it moved pretty fast. It's like a 5-hour audiobook. I listened to it in 1.5 speed, so I guess it was about 3 hours really. But from cutting the grass to walking in the groceries and all that, I finished the audiobook pretty quickly, so you guys can do that as well. I recommend audiobooks just because sometimes you just can't sit down and read an entire light novel. Light novels are harder to read than mangas. It's just a proven fact, so it is what it is. So let me know what you guys think. Should I release some more reviews? I know some of these audiobooks you can find probably here on YouTube, but not everything. So check out my other audiobooks here on my channel. I do have some released, so look for my playlist and you guys can see more audiobooks here. And thank you guys so much for love and support. Like always, don't be strangers. See you guys.